If you've got an issue with my video, if you've got an issue with something I said, respond to it. Fire up a live stream and react. Do a response video.
So today we're going to be talking about some limey Angloid Destiny knockoff that bears the face of a man that lost gallons to Lolicon. And also on top of that, he has a YouTube channel with a little under 10,000 subscribers called Kuihman. I don't know what the fuck that means. It's probably Jewish or something, but I didn't really know a whole lot about this guy. And up until he made a reaction to one of my videos that I wasn't even awake to entirely witness, I didn't really care that much about him. Well, in that video, I am talking about a guy who 4 years previously, when he was 17 years of age, had groomed a 12-year-old girl whilst simultaneously being in a pedo hunting community. Kuihman did not like my take at all. Not only did he not like my take, in response to one of the chatters in his stream, he decided to, I guess, make excuses for the groomer in question.
Dude, you're literally, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The big pictures they watch pedo hunting content at the time as they're messaging the money, they knew it was morally wrong and they still did it. This is exactly what I mean. It's like, knew it was morally wrong. No one operates like that, dude. To just look at it as, they knew it was wrong and they did it anyway, therefore they're evil. It's like such a retarded low IQ viewing.
What does that even mean, Kuihman? The entire point of morality is to stop you from doing things that you know is wrong. I want to reiterate this, by the way. This wasn't a 17-year-old that should know that grooming is wrong. This is a 17-year-old that, for a fact, absolutely knew it was wrong. Because, again, he was in multiple pedo hunting communities. There is no universe in which you saying people don't work that way makes any sense, unless you're saying he doesn't deserve the criticism he's received for doing something he knew was wrong. That's a really strange take. A take, by the way, he expands on here.
Most people grow up and they're like 12 and they break something and their mom shouts at them. And then they cry, and she stops shouting at them. Then they learn that if you act sad, people might give you an easier time. And then that behavior builds up, and then they become manipulative as an adult. Like, that's how it works. That's how most people are formed, how behaviors are formed. People don't do this clinical... Most people, I'll say. Some people have a particularly good internal locus of control and all that shit. So they are able to do this. But most people, the unwashed masses, the average fucking retard out on the street, does not do an evaluation of their behavior and what they believe to be wrong on some consistent principle, and then change their behavior based on that. They are animals that operate on learned behaviors that are built up over the course of their life.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that the unwashed masses are somehow immune to criticism for doing things that they know are wrong? Just because they don't have a clinical analysis of their own moral views? What the fuck does that even mean? All this comes off as is you excusing a guy who groomed a 12-year-old kid. Your take that you're giving right now is easily a take that could be used to justify any instance of grooming. It's not like this motherfucker argued whether or not the guy had groomed the kid. Like, he literally, in the stream, straight up says, yeah, that's grooming.
I mean, yeah, that is grooming. I just, I don't know how much weight I put on it. Because it's just so easy for teenagers to end up doing stupid shit like this when they're in mixed age groups. But we'll see what else there is.
He was 17, the girl was 12. What the fuck, bro? Every seriously idiotic thing he says came after he had already acknowledged that it is, in fact, grooming.
So, like, a touch starved, they're talking about being abused by their mother. The mother certainly wasn't talking to them well. I don't know if I'd call those messages abuse on their own. They certainly weren't nice messages. I can probably believe that this was, like, impoverished.
Impoverished? I have no idea if he grew up poor. Neither do you. Why are you injecting that into the conversation, Kuihman?
Dysgenic. Malnourished. Abused. Little weirdo. Basically.
So, first off, we have no idea as to whether or not he was malnourished. As far as the touch-starved claim, well, that was the guy's excuse for having groomed the kid in the first place, as seen in this clip.
From what I can remember, I was very touch-starved. during that time period.
So yeah, Kuihman just ran with that. And as far as the abusive household or the abusive mother, well, that's based entirely upon this screenshot, which is literally just his mom telling him to stop whining and to do his fucking chores because the little fucking brat, when he was like 15 or 16, had told her that he wants to get paid for doing all this work and was acting like doing chores was somehow like slavery. That's what Kuihman is basing the abuse allegation on. But somehow, Kuihman manages to make it even worse in the following clip.
A teenager talking to a faceless user online. No, they haven't met in real life. No concept of what this 12-year-old is actually like, of them actually being a 12-year-old, like a physical 12-year-old. It's like if you are so lacking in any sort of basic empathy, or you're so deranged by some shit that happened to you as a kid, or you're so optics cocked that you cannot possibly imagine how an autistic, abused 17-year-old that escapes online could end up having inappropriate interactions with someone too young without it being pedophilia. If you are so lacking any basic fucking reasoning that you can't understand that, you are the sort of person that we need to cast out into the fucking wastes. Seriously.
So number one, whenever he says they never met, it wasn't for a lack of trying. They literally were talking about meeting up in the screenshots that he had seen by this point in the video. So he's just being deeply disingenuous about the seriousness of this situation. Secondly, more importantly than that, if you're going to sit here and talk about empathy ad nauseum, why is it you're only showing empathy for the groomer in this situation and not the 12-year-old kid? And so for the meat of this video, we're going to be discussing the Kuihman versus Willy Mac drama that's been going on for a little while. Calling it a drama is a bit dishonest, however, because the reality is it's just a fucking moral crusade. So the core of this drama is that Destiny had sent a Google Drive to a girl that he did not confirm the age of, a Google Drive that contained pornography that he recorded that he shared without the consent of the other people in said recording. This has resulted in a lawsuit and has been a seemingly never-ending drama ever since. However, to make a really long story short, a YouTuber with a couple 100,000 subscribers that goes by Willy Mac decided to make a video going over this very topic. And Kuihman, who at this point had made 50-something hours worth of content going over the Destiny drama, decided he would then purity test Beckett over this fucking Willy Mac video that apparently he didn't like very much.
I'm asking for you to engage with like the statements that are being made. If a video fails on its central premise, is it not by definition a bad video? You say you're doing something and you don't do that thing unless there's an intentional subversion. I don't see how you can say that's not a bad video. He failed on his central premise. That's it. That's where the point begins and ends. Now, I understand, Beckett, you can't call this a bad video because you're in a total fucking chokehold here because the video criticizes you. So if you say it's a bad video, you look like a spiteful bitch to these commentary cabal people. So you're in a total bind. You literally can't be honest about this at all. You're in the cabal's pocket where you're like, you know, you can't say anything too crazy. Or you won't say anything too crazy. You're like, okay. Oh, I like all these people. That's you.
Well, I do like these people. Right, and sure, and I mean, that's me admitting a bias, isn't it?
No, but it's not just admitting a bias. It's like, I like all these people, so I'm opting out of every conversation about it.
Well, I'm clearly engaging in this conversation.
I would make it so you have to pull teeth to get anything close to a condemnation. You have to sit there and ask me if a video fails on its central premise, is it a bad video 60 times?
Well, I mean, again, you said this earlier as well. It's not just the cabal. Like, it's a video that has criticisms of me in it, right? And like, I kind of don't want to rehash this.
If it was like a Nick Diorio video, just any given Nick Diorio video, I think it'd be the same. I understand that this is like why I'm using the word spineless, right? There's clips of Mao talking about how he wants to fuck 17-year-olds getting posted on YouTube drama. And you're sitting there being like, oh, well, if I criticize Nick Diorio in the wrong way, then I might die. It's like, this is...
Well, it's not that I might die, it's just annoying to deal with.
It's just a very obvious problem that's going to annoy people when you're being asked a question. You're ostensibly having the conversation, you're being asked a question, and you're not actually answering it. You're not actually engaging with the point.
Okay, but hold on. But this is the thing. That's my statement or my response to it was never enough.
I think it's really dumb to go up to people that you claim to like and then tell them that they should take your side in some stupid moral crusade that you are hosting, as if they are supposed to give a fuck, as if you are entitled to them sharing your opinion. And in all honesty, this wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world if it weren't for the fact that this has happened multiple times. I mean, imagine for a minute actually getting into arguments with people you're friendly with online over their opinion of some random YouTuber. I mean, seriously, here is yet another argument that Kuihman had over Willy Mac with somebody that wouldn't fall in line with his point of view of Willy Mac.
If he made one done shitting on him, which that first video did shit on him, then that's enough to...
Whoa. No, okay, so the first video did point out some things Destiny did wrong. It didn't shit on him at all. That's totally untrue.
A few moments later.
If your point is that he's not shitting on Destiny, that is incorrect. His videos are doing that. So yeah, I'm going to bring that up every time because you keep saying something.
I didn't say he's never shit on Destiny, but I've never said he didn't shit on Destiny.
Kuihman gives the very absolute statement of, it is absolutely untrue that Willy Mac at all shat on Destiny that entire video. And about 15 minutes later, Kuihman completely contradicts that with the completely opposite statement that he never said that. So either he realized he fucked up during the argument, or he completely forgot he said that. Either way, very high IQ. And with that said, Kuihman's gay little crusade is not limited to little nobody shitters. Here's a handful of screenshots of him just going psycho on Nicholas Diorio for not joining his side. And although I'm sure there's a plethora more examples of all of that we don't have time to go into today, I need you to simply bear all that in mind as we move on to the doxing of Willy Mac and his wife.
Bad Empanada did not originate my dox. He maliciously spread it everywhere, but my dox originated on a niche forum by this guy's unhinged viewers. So when I see this clip, it's obviously a dog whistle to fuck with me. He literally gets a donation that says, I understand what we must do. Wink, wink.
Okay, so right up front, before we deep dive into that, I need to make a couple things clear. Number one, there is zero evidence to substantiate that claim. As a result of that, I'm not going to make that claim. Point two is, I kind of understand where they're coming from. I kind of get it. Even though I don't agree with it, I understand. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, first, let me play you the full clip and let you see really what the subject of discourse really is.
Destiny actually called for my death, said he would kill me. There is actually a moment in this video that shows Destiny attempting to dox me as well. Obviously, I'm not the only person this has happened to. Now, something a little interesting I saw someone tweet out. A fellow by the name of Little Steve tweeted something very interesting out. Little Steve, Massa Stevie, said anything involving this bad empanada guy or anyone that supports him is justifiable ammo. Anything is justified against bad empanada and anyone that supports him. Well, let's apply those standards. Why are we saying this about bad empanada? Well, it appears to be because bad empanada doxed Willy Mac's wife. So, would Destiny be saying that those who dox people, those who make calls to violence or allusions to violence, should be fair game, and all of their supporters, okay, all the personalities that back them up, all the chatters that back them up, everything, adjust everything against these people. Anything is justifiable. That seems to be the standard to me. is that anything is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him. No? Is that not the standard? That's what he's laying out for me here. Now, I have principles. I don't think it's no bad tactics, only bad targets. That's not me. But Destiny is very clearly laying out that those are the standards that he believes in. Those are the standards he wishes to be enforced. Is if you're a doxer, if you call for violence, anything is justifiable against your new supporters.
Order taken.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying, Max, actually. I just explicitly said otherwise, actually, Max. But Destiny is clearly laying it out for you. Destiny is clearly laying it out. He is saying, this type of behavior isn't okay. Anything is justifiable. That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah, so the fact that he is sitting there, smiling from ear to ear, as the doxing information of Willy Mac, his wife, and where their wedding is going to be is just playing in the background, I can kind of see why Willy Mac came to that conclusion. Even though I don't agree with that conclusion, especially due to said lack of evidence, I can understand why it kind of looks that way. If I had to critique Willy Mac a little bit, I would say that if you really wanted to make the accusation of dog whistling, this would be a better clip.
No bad tactics, only bad targets, right? Just go the full way. Fuck it, man. Start contacting Reddit service providers. Let's just start attacking sponsors. Let's just start attacking sponsors all the time, actually. Let's start calling Raycon about how Willy Mac hangs out with sex predators. With sex predators and people who sweep for sex predators. Because no bad tactics, only bad targets, right? We're about the goal, not the method, right? Call up, get Raycon on the line, get NordVPN on the line. They still sponsor code Willy Mac? Let's get that shit cancelled. No bad tactics, only bad targets. Obviously, I'm joking. I don't think it's no bad tactics, any bad targets. That shouldn't be the case. But that's what these people have adopted.
Let's be real here. The following is pretty much the exact same clip.
These people deserve rape. That's what and I disavow rape, but it is what they deserve.
What Kuihman did there was essentially the same as what Nick Fuentes did, which was do the whole I disavow meme. You say exactly what you're thinking, you throw in, oh, I'm obviously joking, or I disavow, you just sprinkle that in there, so that whenever somebody calls you out on it, you can come back with, well, you're being dishonest, you're clipping that dishonestly. I said somewhere in that rant that I disavow, or I was just joking. And that is, in all honesty, why it is that people are accusing you of dog whistling. Like, that's a large part of it anyway. And I can kind of understand where they're coming from there, because that's kind of what it feels like. Even though, again, there's no evidence to substantiate the claim. And I know for a fact that Kuihman is fully aware that the I disavow or it's a joke guys meme is complete bullshit. And the reason I know he is fully aware that it is complete bullshit is simply speaking because he just today, on the 22nd of August, at the time of recording, released a video where about 15 minutes in, he is using a strange whataboutism where he's like, why are people upset over Hassan and not upset over this?
People pick up on this one so much and not the red bar clip, you know? That is interesting, isn't it? I've not heard anyone disavow this yet.
Oogie Gila game where she's lying on the ground and we see how many people could break into her house and just that's a joke too.
Like, dude. And we're crying about this.
Why would anybody be upset? He said it was a joke. Why would you be mad about that? Why would anybody be mad about that? And to add salt to the wound, he is not above making baseless claims. He bitches about fucking Willy Mac making that baseless claim, but is not above forming an entire fucking schizoid conspiracy theory based on, again, literally nothing.
The guy is like, as far as I can tell, like total grifter scum. The guy is like, I mean, he spent the whole first video on Destiny was almost like basically co-written by Not So Erudite. This guy was in DMs, talking back and forth to Not So Erudite. She's sitting there encouraging him to go after Sunday, stir Destiny. And you can see obviously why. Like, she's still hanging around Destiny. She still wants his image good. Willy fell for it, was a total mark. Played the game exactly the way Erudite wanted him to. I'm telling you for a fact, the reason that President Sunday section is there is because Willy Mac contacted Erudite and had Erudite tell him 90% of the story. She guided him through making that video. She was working with Sunday and Kilo. Jesus Christ, I'm choking. Sorry,
I don't see what the point is here with that. So you're saying, okay,
Feeding
let's say that there's a
information
drama.
back and forwards, trying to create a PR piece for Destiny, fundamentally. That's what Erudite wanted. And Willy let her do it, basically.
Which, by the way, the only way that schizo theory could even work at all whatsoever is if Kuihman had access to DMs, which he doesn't have. The same lack of access he uses as an excuse to not comment on the Cherry and Just Ilk drama that was happening around the same time.
If they both leaked all their DMs, maybe I'd be able to come to a conclusion here, but I just can't. I'm not going to say Cherry's totally right and J-Stook's a piece of shit.
This limey fuck is incapable of being consistent on literally anything. How could he have possibly addressed the Willy Mac doxing situation without being accused of dog whistling?
How could I have made the point I made about Willy Mac without being accused of dog whistling to swat his wedding? How could I have... What is a way I could have phrased that point that Destiny's standards leave his own supporters and fans open to being doxed and harassed? How could I have phrased that to where Willy Mac could not have accused me of dog whistling in the way he did? There is not a single way I could have phrased that where he wouldn't be able to make that same allegation.
I don't know, Kuihman. Maybe by not making that point at all. One way that might have really saved you in this situation is by either A, saying, fuck, I'm sorry to hear that. That's kind of fucked up. I don't believe in no bad tactics, only bad targets. And I don't think you should have been treated that way. And then move the topic along. Or, if that's too gay for you, just don't address it at all. You fucking sat there, gloating. You were smiling from ear to ear. Your response was literally, Willy Mac deserved it. That was essentially what you said.
Would Destiny be saying that those who dox people, those who make calls to violence or allusions to violence, should be fair game, and all of their supporters,
Bro is smiling from ear to ear the entire time as doxing information is just flying by in the fucking background behind him. Maybe just don't do that. If you believe that the principle of no bad tactics, only bad targets is a bad principle, then it shouldn't matter who the target is. If the tactic is bad, it's bad. Notice that at no point, by the way, in that clip, does he condemn any of the doxers involved. Not even the act of doxing. He only condemns Willy Mac and Destiny. What he did was effectively victim blaming. Not that I give a shit about that, but that's what he did. It doesn't really seem very consistent with your alleged values whatsoever. In fact, to really hammer this point home, here is his reaction to Nicholas Diorio canceling a podcast or some fucking shit because Dan, a Destiny Orbiter, was doxing people. And this is what Kuihman had to say in response to Nicholas Diorio's tweet on that situation.
can't even bring himself to take a doxing bad stance. He cannot bring himself to take a doxing bad, calling people at work bad stance.
The only time I ever see you say doxing is bad is whenever it's your enemies that are the ones doing the doxing. But when your enemies are the ones getting doxed, you don't really seem to give much of a fuck. If the tactic is bad, it's bad regardless of who the target is, according to your value.
I don't watch Bad Empanada. I'm not a big Bad Empanada viewer, so I hadn't seen this video in full. I didn't know the contents of this clip. Intimately.
Intimately. That's a very interesting choice of words there, Kuihman, after saying that you didn't know the contents. Which, by the way, don't worry, because not even 30 seconds later, he says the following.
Obviously, I knew what the clip was about because, I mean, everyone was talking about how Willy Mac had been doxed.
So what he's saying is that he was fully aware of the contents of the clip and just didn't give a shit.
Not to mention, of course, this was weeks after Willy Mac had already been doxed that this clip happened. The original dox. So the idea they contributed in any way is absurd on the face of it.
Now, to be fair to Kuihman yet again, there is no evidence to substantiate the claim that his community was the community that posted that doxing information on Kiwi Farms. However, I should point out here that there is really no reason for you to mention that that was released on Kiwi Farms weeks previously, when, as you said yourself in the video, that you only heard about it after Bad Empanada released it for everybody to see. So I don't really understand why you're mentioning how many weeks went by. Why are you even bringing that up? It's a bit disingenuous. It feels like you're trying to muddy the waters as to how culpable you actually are in the spreading of said doxing information. Which, by the way, he's not really that culpable. Like, he does make a good point in that it was already viral by the time he talked about it, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But to claim that you're 0% culpable, which is kind of what he's doing there, is a bit dishonest, which I find to be interesting because of the following clip.
The idea that I am getting blamed for that live when I censored it in the upload, got throwaway to censor it on Twitter, even though I usually don't control the people that fucking clip my shit at all. I don't like making recommendations to them or anything like that. I still went out of my way to fix that.
If your culpability was 0%, then what was there to fix? Kuihman is not dog whistling to an audience of doxers, but in fact is rewarding an audience of doxers. Hackers and doxers have been essentially supplementing his content, or at least his Destiny coverage, this entire time. But before I get into the really nitty-gritty of why I think it is that he, A, is rewarding doxers, and B, doesn't even care about doxing really at all anyway, I need to point out that Destiny actually predicted what was going to happen to Willy Mac 3 months ago.
Yes, but he's saying that because you won't come out and post a video like unequivocally calling me like a mass. This is what they do. So whatever like you're working on right now is a waste of time, because if you post this, you're going to have Hassan's community, you're going to have these people on. That's fine, but you say that now, but it'll turn into them going after you, and then they'll try to dox you or your girlfriend, or they'll go after your family, or they'll go after friends of yours, or they'll go after other people in the commentary community until they make videos about you. Like, this is like the pattern. It is so fucking irritating.
Yeah, look at Willy Mac's fucking face. He's like cocky, he doesn't care, he did not see this coming. If I were one of these doxers, I would love that anytime I dox somebody that Kuihman doesn't like, that Kuihman will be all smiles. That would almost be encouraging. I don't think he actually gives an almighty fuck about doxing at all in the first place. So why do I say that? Well, literally, today, he did a stream where he said this about Dan.
Dan is an open liar. Dan is an open doxer. Dan's kind of a piece of shit a lot of the time. Dan doesn't give a fuck about morals or principles. He's just about, like, how do I win? He gets off on commanding an internet army. Almost all of his, behavior on the internet can be explained through the lens of a middle-aged man desperate for the feeling of power and importance, trying to weaponize the brigade of internet followers that he's got in order to muster that perception and muster that feeling in himself. Almost like there's no guiding principle, there's no evaluation of the world that's happening. Like, I will say exactly what Dan is. But I love Dan, okay? I do love Dan. Gluck.
So much for having principles, bro.
Now, I have principles.
I have principles, but boy, do I love this absolute piece of shit. However, if that was the extent of my evidence, that would be pretty weak. Enter Salvo Pancakes.
Remember the old Kuihman, Salvo? I did it live on one of his big streams.
I'll take that. I love Salvo.
So what does Kuihman have to say about Salvo Pancakes? Somebody that you could argue is the Saddam Hussein of commentary.
Now, I hear he did leak Nick Duro's phone number, and that's obviously totally fucked up. Like, that is, like, totally fucked up, and leaking people's, like, personal fucking contact info is, I get why you would totally cut someone off and make them persona non grata for doing that. However, he was really funny. He did do some really, really funny streams.
So clearly, Kuihman does not give an almighty fuck about doxing. But you see, like most things, it only gets worse from here. Kuihman likes to go on rants about reduced agency. It's like he almost loves that fucking line for some reason. Here's a clip of him using it now.
Almost every case where there is someone who targets a specific age range, I think it's predatory. Because I don't know why you're targeting that specific age range or mentally ill people other than the reduced agency, generally. That seems to be the case.
That makes people like Destiny predators. Okay, what if I told you that Salvo Pancakes specifically targeted a mentally ill girl, and when I say targeted, I mean made her drink her piss?
Let me ask you a question, all right? At one point in this sexting, did you make a girl lick pee out of the toilet and on the ground?
No, because I can't make anybody do anything from a phone.
Okay, did you ask somebody to do that? How about that?
Again, I didn't see the text messages, but I'll take your word for it. Did I say that?
Okay. Okay, so the woman that did that told Clara that you know, that she has all, I wish Clara was here to better represent the story, but the way I remember it is the woman has a lot of mental disabilities, all right, that did this with you, all right? And she feels like she's been taken advantage. Her family feels like she's been taken advantage of. This is a 20-year-old girl, by the way. And she's now been put in like some type of home because she's so embarrassed about what she did for you that
Well,
she's suicidal.
she leaked it all. She made it public, and I have other text messages to prove that I didn't know that she felt uncomfortable at all, or her family. So again, this is all news to me. I didn't make any of this public, and all that I knew from literally into the moment that this came out was that she had no problem with me. So
he's not even denying it, actually, at all. He's just basically sitting there like, I didn't realize until just now she was upset by it. But you remember the anti-Destiny moral crusade that I mentioned earlier that Kuihman has been going on about for the better part of 6 months? Well, part of that crusade was Destiny allegedly recording sexual encounters without the consent to record. What are the odds that our buddy, our pal, Salvo Pancakes did exactly the same thing?
The allegation is you went to Niagara, hooked up with this girl tour, and while you were hitting it from behind, she turned around and you were on your phone.
okay.
Did you record her?
No. I already said no.
What were you doing on your phone?
I think I was checking like YouTube Studio.
Okay, so you definitely did hook up with this girl.
I don't know about that one. Probably another lie.
You just admitted that you hooked up with her.
No, you told me a story, and I said I didn't film anybody. I don't know who I hooked up with.
So unless you want to believe the hands caught in the cookie jar level excuse that he gave that, oh, he was just casually perusing his YouTube Studio app while boinking some bitch, he was doing exactly what he was accused of doing. Come on. And with all of that in mind, I want you, the audience, to remember that Kuihman and Salvo Pancakes are best friends right now.
Me and Salvo are very good friends already. Okay, first of all. So don't even attempt to drive a wedge like that, because we're very good friends already.
Yeah, so it's very apparent to me that Kuihman doesn't give a shit about things like doxing. You know, given the fact that he likes Dan, despite the fact that Dan apparently doxes people. And given the fact that Salvo Pancakes is literally infamous for doxing people on live streams. And let's be real here, criticizing Nicholas Diorio for not bitching at Dan loud enough for doxing, and bitching about Dan doxing, and bitching about Destiny doxing people really falls flat when you're BFFs with literally Saddam Hussein. Going after Destiny for, quote, being a predator by going after mentally ill women, and also going after Destiny for non-consensually recording and sharing pornography, kind of falls flat whenever a stream you're on with Salvo Pancakes ends like this.
I appreciate you. I want to circle back with you in 1 month. I'm going to have you on once a month, and we're going to kumbaya, and we're going to laugh together, and we'll get along. I appreciate you coming on. I'm not going to keep you any longer. If you have any last words for me, any compliments for me, I'll take them. Any compliments for the show, I'll also take that. I'll take anything.
No, look, good luck. Listen, I hope you stay on YouTube this time, man. I like your streams, so luck.
Before I end the video today, I want to bring up a couple points. It's really strange that Kuihman privated not 1, not 10, not 30, but 600 plus VODs. And he did so not even a couple weeks after his response to Willy Mac. But what's even more interesting is he didn't just private an entire backlog, he also picked 2 very specific dates for which he privated a whole host of streams in between. That is, between the 13th and the 30th of July. So I have no idea why he privated all of those VODs, let alone the VODs between those 2 very specific dates, but I'll leave that knowledge and the speculation entirely up to you. And secondly, it's entirely possible that Kuihman and pals may label me as a Destiny defender or a Willy Mac defender in order to dismiss everything that I've said. And if so, I would be very surprised if I don't get doxxed as a direct result. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and all that other gay shit. And if you really liked the video, please consider joining my Patreon. On top of that, I also have a Twitter account now, and you can of course join my Discord linked down below. I'd like to say thank you to all of my patrons who naturally of course made all of this possible. And furthermore, if you don't want to join my Discord or Twitter or any of that other shit, and you just simply want to watch another video, you should be seeing one on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and go fuck yourself.